Okay, I am recording. It has been a long time. But I'm recording because I'm bored, and all the people that I was talking to today are gone to bed. So, uh, so, huh? Wait, is there a light? There is a light on. What the fuck? Whatever, bro. Wait, couldn't that train it? Whatever, we're just gonna have to roll with it. Um, so everyone is gone to bed, and um, I'm by myself now with nothing to do. I don't want to play a video game. I would have, but I'm thinking about too much, so I don't want to play a video game. And it's the same case with watching stuff. Like I don't want to watch anything. Even there's something on TV, but I'm not paying attention to it because there's not enough to interest me right now. So I'm just uh, so the only thing that really is interesting and fun enough to keep me busy right now is to document. So, um, yeah, I got too much to think about, too much going on. Too much to think about, too much going on. So where to start off? um, okay, I'm losing everything of where I'm losing a lot right now. So I don't know where I was gonna start off after I said all that. Where I was gonna start. So I would just randomly talk on what subject I was going to go in the direction of, or one of the subjects I was going to go in the direction of. I'm documenting this because one of the reasons is because I might be on this. I might be on the path of having Alzheimer's. I have not seen. I have not gotten diagnosed on anything or seen a doctor and talked about it with a doctor, nor have which is the best thing to do if you are going in that route, is to document things. But nor have I haven't seen a doctor or anything, so yeah, I think that's the only thing. I just haven't seen a doctor about it and told them anything. Yeah, blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's all the same thing. So yeah. But you can kind of tell right now. If that is the case, then you can kind of tell right now because of stuff that is the way things are coming out right now. And I've already done my research. So, yeah. So, some of the stuff that's happening right now at this very moment is stuff that happens with people who are developing Alzheimer's. Um, though I'm saying that my mind is getting fixated to get in to get set to be on that path. I'm not even saying that I'm headed down that route yet. So I'm not. Oh yeah, I think that's the other thing I was trying to say. I'm not diagnosing myself. I'm just being alert and watching things and monitoring and being on the lookout and stuff. All that stuff, I'm just watching out. So if that does happen, I'm just on the lookout. I'm not diagnosing myself. But yeah, so uh I've done my research and some stuff a little bit, very little, I already knew. And then the one thing of why I'm thinking this already is because I thought it before I found confirmation on what I was thinking. So to validate my thoughts. But yeah, I am young, but it doesn't matter. You can still end up that way even if you're young. Okay, it's recording now. Sorry for the whatever. Um, I don't even remember what I was saying now because of that. Oh yeah, now I remember it. I am. Man, that made me a little. Anyway, uh, I. Oh yeah, I'm young, but it doesn't matter. You don't have to be old to end up that way. You can be young and end up that way. I found. Yeah. Anyway, so I mean, yeah, I found out something, but yeah. So you can be young and end up that way. It doesn't matter if you're old. I mean, it doesn't matter about being old or being young. You can still end up that way. But one thing I did some research on, which is what is showing signs right now as I'm recording, is you get your thoughts twisted, and that's what's happening right now as I'm recording. With people who are developing Alzheimer's or have Alzheimer's, they get their thoughts twisted, and that's exactly what you're seeing right now as I'm recording. So yeah, so that's one sign. There's many other things that are into consideration than just that, but I'm just stating that right now. So he's like, yeah, you see what I mean? Is why I'm said that. Why I'm recording, documenting this. Is why I said that. Why I said that is, yeah. So I don't know what else. Maybe I'll just talk more about it. Because now I'm starting to get bored talking about it, which would suck if I do get don't want to talk about it no more. Then that's gonna suck because there ain't nothing else to do, and I know I ain't gonna be happy doing anything else once I cut this off. So I want to talk as long as I possibly can. But so yeah. Oh, I guess I'll start off by saying when once life gets a certain way, or the individual's life gets us in a certain fashion, um, and you be the wear and tear on your brain, and you go under the weight of enough stress. It does not matter. You can end up. There's no shortage of ways of how you can end up. Like you can end up in all kinds of different ways, mentally and physically, because of stress. Stress might be one of the top things that could put you in bad situations mentally and physically. But so yeah, if oh, so yeah, once your mind gets under a certain state from stress and stuff, and you know, things happen in the brain. You know, I was saying this earlier to somebody, but I was talking a little different about something. Or I was talking a little different when I said that. Oh yeah, I was saying like maybe you could be like some sort of way in other type of mental aspects um, from birth, you know, because well, I mean but I mean when I say other mental aspects, I'm not saying things that have already been proven. I mean like from birth with things that haven't, you know, that nobody knows yet, not even me. But I just gave a I gave a I gave my take on it. It's just that because of things that could happen from birth or while you're developing in the womb. They're neurologically in the brain and pathogens and stuff, and the way the brain is developing and being wired and stuff. And I know that one thing is that I forget what happens if this happens, but Well, yeah, no, I do remember what can happen. It can create a mental, well, I'm not going to say that word, but it can create a mental defect if this happens. If you are developing in the womb and the umbilical cord gets wrapped around your neck, it could, choke you, and it could make you develop a it could make you mentally give you a mental defect and stuff. That's happened to plenty of people and stuff. So I mean, there have been babies that died that way, but you can also live through it and survive it and not die. But um, but when that does happen, it can give you a mental defect because the umbilical cord got wrapped around your neck while you were in the womb. So yeah, and I was just saying that, and yeah, and just other things like just uh, neurologically and pathogens and stuff, and the way the brain's developing, and just it's being wired and stuff. There could be something that could happen, or I can't get super deep into it, not because I don't want to, but because I just don't like it's beyond my knowledge and stuff, you know. So, but yeah, the, yeah, things could happen, in the brain and during the state of being in the womb, and you could end up a way that nobody ever thought you could end up. No one ever thought you could end up from birth. So I'm just saying that. So it almost, even though I'm not a doctor, by any means, I'm not a doctor, but I do, you know, dig into stuff. So take some things what I say with a grain of salt. Some things I stated are like full on correct. Like even though I'm not a doctor, I'm full on correct because I mean a doctor would tell you the same thing. But take some things what I say with a grain of salt. But yeah. I'm losing what I was thinking again. I think I was thinking that. So yeah, oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, it kind of almost don't matter what the case would be when it comes to existing. You know, whether you're old or young or a kid or you're still in the womb and you're developing and you're about to be born. It's almost like you can be in any kind of way of a rate of something, as long as just things happen at the right time, at the right moment, at the right time, at the right moment, and things, functions and stuff, start getting going in the right direction with stuff, that you could be any kind of way. It just don't almost kind of don't really matter. That part you would take with a grain of salt. I think what I said, um, the words that came out made sense because it was put together well. But take what I grain of salt. Take what I said with a grain of salt because I could be wrong. But I think what I said was, in my belief, was, I mean, true. And I was right about it. Yeah, I feel not 100% right, but I feel some level of confidence in being right about what I'm saying and stuff. So yeah. But yeah. Um. uh. But yeah, I mean, cause as time goes by, we just keep finding more and more stuff that we did not think was possible with the body and the mind. So what that is just showing new research and things that need to be studied more, and just showing that things can happen in the most unbelievable ways with the body and the mind that you never thought could happen. Um, that you never thought could happen, and it, it's like almost like you're not exempt from something just because of criteria. You're not exempt from stuff. Is what I'm kind of trying to say. It's like it's almost like that. You know, it's like I'm a young guy, but I can still have Alzheimer's anyways. Just because I'm young don't mean nothing. You know. So yeah. That's why I'm using that example of myself. To say that it's like you know, it's like you're not exempt from stuff. Just because I'm young don't mean I'm exempt from ending up that way. Yeah. Oh, another thing I learned is, and this goes along with everything else I said, to help you realize and understand what I'm saying even more so, and why in my on and reflecting inside myself, why I believe that what I'm saying is right to a certain extent, because I know I'm not a doctor, and knowledge is eternal, and there is no knowledge is eternal, and always search for it, because yeah, it's eternal, like it goes on. There is no end to learning and what you can know. So that wasn't the statement I was going to make from the beginning. I'm just saying that because because of what I was getting ready to say and stuff and everything. And then what I said before that. So yeah. But yeah, what I've learned is that I said this to somebody earlier too, is that and I learned this from someone else. I didn't just come up with. I didn't come up with this out of nowhere. Toxic emotions cause toxic symptoms. I will say again. I feel like I missed something a second ago. Like something I should have added in there before I got to this point, and I missed it and accidentally left it out, and it's not going to come back to me. But whatever. Just saying that makes me feel better, and I can just not care and move on. But anyways, yeah, I will say again, toxic emotions cause toxic symptoms. So they did a research with people who had cancer, and what they found out was that they started asking those people what was going on in their life and how they were feeling. And all those people were worried and stressed, and they all had something going on in their life that was making them worried and stressed. And so when they did that, then they did some more research with those people, from what I remember, and they found stuff with like the makeup in their body, and those people were chemically, because they, like what I said in the beginning, toxic emotions cause toxic symptoms. Their emotions were creating stuff chemically in the brain and in the body that was, I don't know a whole lot about chemicals, like a biologist or whatever would know, whether it's chemical biology or elemental biology. But so I can only say what I'm saying now. I can't go any further into it. I know they said they got deeper into it and said something about the chemical, but I don't remember what it was and stuff. But I just know that there was because of their emotions and stuff, and because they were all worried and stressed, that chemically, in their brain and body, that there was, stuff, you know, going on with them, and stuff was getting released in a weird way and stuff, and because of that, something clicked and they got cancer. You know. So yeah, something clicked and they all got cancer. So that's what I'm saying. Now there is no way, in any shape or form, for any person on this planet to not ever get stressed, not worry, and not feel some type of emotion of unhappiness. But there is still a way around it, even though there's no way to not. I mean, for that to not happen. One way, if you believe in God, to really, you know, really make sure you're keeping up to date with your faith. Another thing is you need to find a way to deal with those bad emotions in a healthy way, so that those bad emotions don't consume you. That is the key to it. And then staying positive too. I mean, everyone says that, but and I said this in a lot of, well, not a lot, but other videos that I've recorded in the past, is that everybody always says these simple, generic ass cliches, and it doesn't. Nobody listens to it because they're generic ass cliches. It's like all you said was "don't smoke." How do you think that? How the fuck do you think that's gonna stop me from smoking just because you said "don't smoke"? Like, are you stupid or something? Like, you really thought I wasn't gonna smoke just because you said "don't smoke"? Like, that's not gonna do anything. That might I'm not gonna lie. That might, for some people, might have actually made them not smoke just because that person said "don't smoke." For some people, but I would say that number is small. It is not at all like as if it is not at all like as if that number is larger than the people who didn't listen or just didn't care, or whatever the case may be. It's a didn't with anything. They just didn't. So yeah, it's like just telling me don't smoke ain't gonna help me and ain't gonna keep me from not smoking. It's still gonna happen. It's like, you stupid. But when you really get into it, and then they see you and your life and stuff, and you really get into it like a scientist and explain stuff to them, and then put the cliche on top of it, then they will listen with the cliche too, because you did more than that. Just saying a cliche is not going to keep anything from anything.
Communities threatened by Nosferatu.
So I can come back and keep talking. But yeah, saying a cliche, which is why people say that way, and be like, oh, that sounded like a cliche, like it's a bad thing. That's why, because saying a cliche ain't gonna do nothing with anything, bro. Like, seriously, that is not gonna help anything. Just saying tired old cliches. You know, I might have already went over this in a video before. I can't remember, but that might be the reason why when we were a lot of us, not just my generation, the like generation that came after me, but that might be the case why a lot of kids and teens like didn't like nobody got through to them, and like people never listened, and etc etc when we were growing up and stuff. Is because I've noticed that every generation just cliches everything, and you wonder why nothing gets through to anyone, because you're clicheing shit. Like, what do you think? I know some people are hard-hitting, and then there's people who are really fucking stupid, but that's not the entire case. Like, some people are just bad at, like, talking to people and getting through to them. And that is I feel like that is one of the largest cases, because I've noticed it a lot throughout my life and through other people, is that adults just cliche shit, or the ones in my time, and like some of the ones that are in the time after me that were adults, not like the adults when I was an adult. They probably did, some of them probably did too, but I mean the adults who were already adults by the time we became adults, and we're talking to people who are still kids and who are teens after we finally became adults. um the, those people, they just cliche stuff. That's all they do. Like, they never say anything that really inspires. Like, and I remember I saw this on a YouTube video, and I really respect that kid, and if he ever sees this, I just want you to know that I respect you to a very great deal. You inspired me just by well, you didn't. I don't know how that video got recorded, but the point is, you inspired me. Like, you really hit close to home when you said what you said in that video. Is I saw that video where that kid said to the teacher and confronted the teacher and said, you can't do that. Like, you expect all these kids to just hand them a packet and then that's it. Like, it doesn't work like that. We can't all learn that way. You can't just hand a kid a packet, which is why when I was in school, now I'm digressing, but it's okay because I'm getting in depth about a whole lot of stuff. You can't expect us to learn like that. Like, he made a very valid point and stuff, which is why I've always felt growing up and being in school, I'm not going to say anybody's names, but whether they were good or bad, I'm not going to say any names. One of them, I wish I could say their name, the good one, but I'm not going to say it. But yeah, which is why I've always felt that a lot throughout my life. I felt like when teachers teach students, I'm just like, what the fuck? And a guy was doing a satire video. I could go on about this stuff, but yeah, another guy was doing a satire video about it. He was like, what the fuck are you here for? Like, Jesus criminy. Like, like, hey, principal, do you owe this guy a favor or something? Could you fire him already? It's like, he's a miserable bastard, and he's making it shit for us. It's like, seriously, and I've felt the same way growing up, and so have a lot of my colleagues, growing up. It's like peers, colleagues, all the same stuff. It's like, we've all felt the same way at some point or another. Most of us, like, it's like, Jesus Christ, what the fuck are you here for? It's like, I don't understand why you're a teacher, because you're shit at it. You have not said one thing that really, like, sparked something in my brain to make me feel like, I need to know this, or to just make me want it to die. Just anything, period, bro. You have not, like, sparked anything in my head at all. If anything, you make me wish I wasn't here and just at home playing video games and watching cartoons and shit. Like, you have not said one thing yet. And I don't get this whole system of education and this whole system, period, in our world. I really don't understand any of it. It makes no fucking sense to get a job and you don't give two fucking shits about it. if you do, you're not really showing me that you give a shit about it, because the way you do it don't seem like you give a shit. I don't understand it at all. The point to be a teacher is to teach and inspire students. And a lot of them don't do that. Or really, the whole point really is to, period, is to inspire them. You're supposed to inspire them to make them want to learn, so that they like to learn. So that the more, so as they, because if they like to learn, then they will grow and develop more healthy and become more intelligent, and they will have a better chance once they get out of school, so that they can be successful at something. Whether they chose to go that route of wanting to be successful in that criteria, or it just dawned on them, it's like, oh, I think this is pretty cool, so I'm going to try to pursue this and become successful at it. Either which route it goes. That's the whole point to it. And a lot of them do not do that. I'm not going to say none of them, because I have met teachers in my life that have been successful at that with me and a lot of their students. They have been. But a lot of them don't do that, and I've scratched my head and questioned, and all I can think is how I want to be at home playing video games and watching cartoons. Like, that's all I can think about. Like, a lot of them do not do that. And I'm just like, why are you here? Why are you doing this? Now, I will give it to you that teaching is not easy. Teaching is hard, which is what I've learned from my teachers. Even the bad ones, to some degree, I've learned that. The teaching is not easy. I mean, you can really, when you think about it, you don't even have to be a teacher to figure that out. Like, if you have kids, you can realize that teaching is not easy. It is hard to teach. If you want somebody to listen, to you, you have to give a good lesson, and stuff. That you can learn that from watching cartoons. Is when people listen and understand stuff, it's because they had a good teacher in life, or just period. Like, even if it comes in a small, minuscule way, but they had a teacher, that taught them something, and they gave a good lesson, whether it was like presentation wise, or they were just good at giving good lessons. Like, they were just good at, like, you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, generically, they were good at giving good lessons. I'm not even talking about just presentation. I'm talking about just like, philosophically just saying stuff, and just, making them understand lesson wise to teach. Yeah. So, and they got through to them because of that. I just got off the PS5 a second ago and just finished up a conversation with one of my friends, and his kid was acting really bad and he wasn't listening. And I was like, there's a way around every situation with a kid and making them understand and getting them to listen to you. The real challenge is having the knowledge and the know-how how to do that. That's the real challenge, and not everybody has the knowledge and the know-how how to do that, which is why they say with knowledge is power. You cannot expect to be successful at something if you do not have the know-how and the knowledge of, of the criteria. I mean, obviously, of course, you're going to fail if you don't. If I don't know how to play video games, or a specific game, maybe I know how to work a controller, but I don't know anything specifically about that game. And so I'm walking into it blind, and if I don't try to learn it, which is why sometimes I do get turned off to some video games, because I have to put so much effort into learning the game. And so, like UFC at first, I'm still not amazing at that game, but I do a little bit better. As a matter of fact, it's funny because I know things better now, but I still do stuff off of random. Like, I just randomly do stuff and I hold my own in the fight. I've done it with friends and stuff, and they're better than me, and I still hold my own. And yet, I'm just doing stuff off of random. So, it's spontaneous and stuff. But anyways, but yeah, you cannot be successful. But if it was like how it was, like, let's go off of, because I remember, okay, I don't have to come up with something, make up something. I can use an actual story. There was at one point when I did play UFC, and it was number 3, and I jumped on that game with my friend who was very experienced and stuff in the game and in fighting in general. And yeah, I got my ass beat so badly. I don't even think I lasted a minute, much less 30 seconds. I think he won the fight in like 10, 15 seconds. You know, because I didn't know what I was doing at all. I didn't know the buttons. I didn't know how to, like, the punch, like, nothing. I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I couldn't figure out how to throw a punch and stuff. So that's what I'm saying. So don't go back to, don't don't take what I said a minute ago and say, but you just said now that you did something and you didn't know what you were doing. You were successful. Really, I wasn't. Well, no, there were like recently I was successful in a fight and I was being spontaneous, but most of them, yeah, I wasn't successful. And I held my own, which is kind of successful, but it's not, because the fact that I just held my own is successful, because it is successful when you're doing something you don't know what you're doing and you're still holding your own, yet you don't know what you're doing, so it's successful. But at the same time, it's not successful because you didn't conquer what you were doing, because you didn't know what you were doing. So yeah, that's why my friend made that funny ass joke when I fought him that first time, and he was like, yo, how is he doing this? He's like, he knows what he's doing, but he don't know what he's doing. And he's like, how is he doing all this? He was like, bruh. Yeah, I was just laughing my ass off, which is one of the reasons why I lost, is because he was making it so funny that I lost the fight, because I couldn't take it. I couldn't be serious. I kept laughing too much. I was like, I was just luring you into a false sense of security. Still, is what I said. But yeah, so yeah, I lost that fight, and that's not the entire reason. Like I said, I didn't know what I was doing, but I lost that fight also because I was like being too damn giggly and shit. So I lost and everything. But hey, what can I tell you? I thought the dude was funny. When I was fighting him, I thought all the shit he was saying to me was funny. So it's not my fault. But anyways, so yeah, don't take that and be like, yeah, you were successful and everything, and you just said you didn't know what you were doing. No, that shit, everything that I said before that still applies. You know, yeah, all of that stuff applies. Like, that's what I'm saying. When I first played UFC for the very first time ever in my life, like, I got on the game and I fought somebody who was experienced, very experienced, and I did not last much less a minute, much less 30 seconds. I lost that fight in like probably 10, 15 seconds. They mopped the floor with me and stuff. So yeah, it still counts and still matters. You cannot expect to jump into something that you have no intimate knowledge of whatsoever and be successful in it. Like, you have to like learn, like, you know, at some point, you know. So yeah, you can't just jump into it and not know anything, think you're just gonna, like, you know, be good at it out of nowhere. You know, success comes with time and patience. You gotta, you know, if you don't believe me, then, you know, you can think whatever you want. I don't give a shit. Like, to some degree, for some of you out there, I don't give a shit. Like, you know, don't believe what I'm saying. You're gonna find out one way or another. You know, that what I'm saying is the truth. You know, if you don't want to believe it, it's no skin off my nose or back. You know, if you don't believe what I'm saying, you know, because I'm not you, and you're not me. What I know is what I know, and it's helpful to me. And if you don't want to believe it, I'm saying this for your well-being. But if you don't want to believe it, it doesn't hurt me because I'm not you. I'm trying to help you, but, you know, it's whether you want to take it, what I'm saying, or not. You know, is what it really comes down to. So yeah. But yeah, so that's my whole point, or one of my whole points in my arguments and in this documentation, is if you're getting into something, learn, or I mean, learn what you're trying to get into, whether you're interested in it or not. You're just trying to get through it. Learn what you're trying to get through. And yeah, you'll be all right. And I digressed, but yeah. So yeah, it is all on the teacher and a good lesson. You know, is what matters, and that's why I never understood that. So I'm not on both sides. I'm not on either one side. Sort of. I mean, I kind of am on the student side more than anything, but I'm not entirely on their side either, because some students just don't want to learn what they're being taught and stuff. And so I'm not entirely on their side either. And in some aspects, I get that, but at the same time, it's like, I mean, you're in school, and you can't not be in school until you reach a certain age. Like, there is a certain point, but I ain't gonna get into that. But, yeah, so you're in school, you can't not be in school. And, well, there is something else I could get into about that, but should I? I don't know. I, I'm gonna leave that alone because yeah, that might make people want you. So yeah, I'm gonna leave that alone. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, you're in school and you can't not be in school. So yeah, you need to know what you're being taught. Some way, somehow. If the teacher is a shit teacher, you gotta find some way to learn what you're being taught. Go somewhere where it either kind of makes you curious or something. Just go somewhere where you can find a way to focus on the subject that you're being taught. Some way, somehow. You don't have to listen to the teacher. Like, they're a shit teacher, but you can't do anything about that. They're shit. So you gotta find some way to learn the subject. But yeah, but I do get a lot of kids out here because yeah, like a lot of teachers suck. They really do suck. At being teachers. And it ain't just teachers. That's a lot of jobs. But yeah, but the main focus is teachers. Like they suck at being teachers. Like the hell. Like, come on, bro. You wanted to do this job as a lifelong career, which is why we all question, like, and scratch our heads, like, the hell, like, why are you doing this? Because we're not so sure you really give a shit about this job. Because you suck. Hmm. People who make big statements and make really interesting ones are the ones that get put in the hot seat for stuff. So, but it probably won't matter for me because if this ever does get uploaded, it won't really hurt me more than likely because it'll get uploaded. It just won't matter. Like, you won't be able to do anything to me by the time this would be uploaded. If it ever does get uploaded. Even though a lot of what I'm saying is very much true, even though it's debated about, but it's very much true. So, yeah. But yeah, a lot of people who are respected in history and, are by many people, and, a lot of people who found those people to be right by what they said were put in the hot seat and were hated by a great number of people before they were praised. So I kind of don't care. Even if, with the stuff I said would get me in the hot seat. You gotta ruffle a little feathers before, people listen to you. So yeah, I kind of don't care about. I kind of, like I said, I kind of don't care about being put in the hot seat because, I'm saying stuff that are ruffling feathers because I'm making, statements that a lot of people, don't want to be made. They want you to shut the fuck up and, just, follow this damn shit that, that's going on and stuff instead of asking questions. So yeah, shut the fuck up and do what you're told and stuff. So yeah, and don't ask any questions. It's like, fuck you, nigga. Like that whole shit is why stuff is the way it is, because people won't ask questions and fight against, all this shit. It's like it's obviously not working for everyone, so it's like, oh, like the hell's wrong with you? Like fuck you, I don't care. But that's a whole another topic for another day. So they don't want you to ask questions, and as soon as you do, they fucking start doing stuff to you. Yeah. So, anyways, but yeah, so yeah, I get uh a lot of generations and their, especially mine, is with their questioning of school. It does seem pretty stupid, you know, and stuff. Yeah. But anyways, let me try to ease my way back to the other the other topics I was making. Um, if I can get there, I might have lost some of them. Um, hmm. I do hope one thing though. I just hope that more people who pursue jobs actually care about their jobs and are always trying to I guess sculpt like it's an analogy, like a sculptor sculpting a sculpture is like you trying to perfect being good at something. I hope people in the future do keep trying to sculpt that sculpture always and forever, so that they get better and better and better at what they're trying to do. Because if you don't, then it's not just about the learning thing. If you don't do that too, then you're limiting stuff, and then it stops there, and then you won't be able to keep being successful and doing great things at what you're trying to do. So you gotta keep sculpting the sculpture. That's the analogy. And I sort of did not come up with that. I phrased it differently, but I didn't really come up with that. Yeah. So I just hope that, because it's the only way things are ever going to improve in this world and in our system, is if we keep that mindset. You know, what's his name? Heath Ledger said, he made a statement that was interesting before he died. Heath Ledger said when he became an actor and he started getting good at it, because he actually, I guess he thought he was bad at first at doing the job, and he was very critical. Like he would criticize himself, very much so. And so he made a statement saying, "Oh, I definitely made a lot of mistakes and stuff, doing this job and everything, and there were fears and stuff, and worried about failing and stuff and everything, yada yada yada." And then the last quote he said was that he was like, when he was at his, when he was, I'm just gonna say he was at his prime. I didn't want to say it because he's dead now, and he died when he was at his prime. So to me, it felt like I might be doing some type of disrespect. I don't know. It just, that's how it ran through in my head. But yeah, so, but I don't mean disrespect, because he was a really great actor. I love that character, the Joker, and other roles he played in. What's that one movie? Oh, the Imaginorium of Dr. Parnassus or something like that. But yeah, I actually like that movie a lot. But yeah, so he did a lot of other great roles. Lords of Dogtown, like all those movies were really good, and he did a really good job at those characters. But yeah, so I'm not just gonna praise him for the Joker, because that would piss him off. It's like, that's all people can say about me is the Joker. But yeah, so but the quote he made when he was in his prime and before he died was that, oh, I never want to feel like I'm all the way there. Like some cartoon character is like, I reached my full greatest potential and that's it, blah, 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 and it's like, there's no other new levels or plateaus to reach. I've exceeded everything, he said he didn't want to feel like that or be like that. He said that he. I'm getting annoyed about something because I'm thinking about the cartoon aspect and it's bugging me. It's just dancing around in my head, pissing me off like a fucking circus afro zebra. But anyways, he said that he never wanted to feel like that or even think like that. That oh, I'm all the way there and there's nothing left to get better at. I'm the best there ever was or whatever. Yeah, he said that, he always wanted to feel like he's like pushing to get better and trying to do his job better than he did the last time, That's what he said. And so I like that quote and oops, oh, okay. I like that quote and that's very true. You don't want to, because that's where arrogance comes into play and ego and stuff. And then you think you're that no one, can surpass you and blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into depth, but yeah, all that stuff. So yeah. Um, and you don't want to do you don't want to think like that. You want to think that, like as if you're just starting this shit and you still need to get better, even though you are already really good, you need to in some way keep your mind set like you're just starting and you still need to get better, like there's still more stuff you need to do. Don't ever get so full of yourself that there's something that once you get good at it that you don't feel like you can't accomplish or do it better than you already are doing it. Ever, don't ever feel like that, because it is like knowledge, pretty much, in a lot of things. It never ends. Like you can always get better and get smarter or whatever, and get stronger at something that you're already good at. So yeah, I wouldn't just because you're already good to just you know, let your mind stop there. Yeah. And I'm gonna move to another. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So I remember how I got into that conversation about the teachers and stuff. Is I was talking about that kid that I saw on YouTube. This video is really old as hell. Or I mean, not really, really old. I don't think it is. I don't know. Maybe he. No, yeah, no. Because the way he was dressed, he had some clothes on that nobody wore when I was in high school. So never mind. It wasn't during my time. I'm pretty sure from what I remember what he was wearing, it wasn't during my time. But but it's still really old. Like I think it was like last decade, like in probably midway or earlier in the decade, is when that video got recorded. So yeah, but still, I like what he said and I like what he did and I respect him for it. It's like he inspired some people when that video got put on the internet and people saw it. He inspired some people, you know. Is he said that in that video is that you can't do that to us. You can't just hand us a packet and expect us all to. Is why I got into that whole spiel about everything else. Is to expect us all to pass this class because you handed us a packet and we did the work. We can't all learn like that, you know. It's not even just about the whole like mental disabilities. It's like even without mental disabilities, you can't expect everybody to just get a piece of paper and then just write on a piece of paper and then we all pass the class. Like, because everybody learns different. You gotta. What he was saying. This is the part what he was saying in the video that was inspiring. It's like if you want us to learn and pass this class, you gotta reach out to us. You gotta affect us. You know, you gotta reach our hearts and spark our brains and stuff and everything. You know, you gotta make that kid passionate about the subject. You gotta be effective in as a teacher in this in teaching this class in order for us to pass it. You can't just hand us a packet and um pass it, which is why I was saying I don't understand why some teachers do their job, because it's almost like from my perspective, it's like they do it because they kind of like they know how to. It's like if like I can clean. That doesn't mean I'm passionate about cleaning. I just know how to clean and clean a little bit. So I go do that to make money because I need a way to earn a living. I need a way to make a living and to earn a paycheck. So I just go do that, and that's a topic too. Is um, not going to get in deep into it. I don't even know if it's a debating topic. I don't know if people are debating about that, but I know people. There are people that know this. That a lot of people out there go and get a job because they know how to do it, but that doesn't mean that they give a they that they care about the job or anything. It's just because they know how to do it to some degree, so they go do it to earn a paycheck. That is very much how our system works. People do stuff to just for a paycheck. It's not because they care about what they're doing in particular. It's just about the money. Yeah, I've thought about things like this for a very long time, and I could go on and on about one subject or move on to a subject that's similar to it, but it's not the same thing, and just keep going and going. Like, these videos can be long as hell if I want them to. But yeah, another actor says something. I don't know his name, but I've seen him a lot, so I know who he is. I just don't remember his name, or I probably don't even know his name at all. I don't think. But wait, no, I do know his name. I'm not gonna say it though. I don't think. Should I? Wait, no, I just said. Yeah, no, I am gonna say his name once it comes back to me. Because I'm like, why would I not do that? I said Heath Ledger's name, so why not say his name? I'm not doing anything wrong by saying their name. So yeah, I'm not doing anything wrong. It's a good thing that I say their name. You need to know where the quote and the info came from. That smart thing came from that person. But anyways, this actor, I'm trying to remember his name. It's he's married to what's her name? She's Latino. Um, oh, what's her name? Her name is God damn it, she was in Zorro with Antonio Banderas. She played Antonio Banderas' girlfriend in the first Zorro. I just can't remember her name. There's another name in my head and it's blocking that the name of the actual actor that I'm thinking of. Yeah, I can't. Wait. Yeah, it's not coming. That other name is really like it's almost like it's trying to block out the actual name of the actor. But yeah, I can't get it, and I'm not gonna stress myself to try to get it. So yeah. But anyways, the the actress that was in the movie Zorro, Antonio Banderas, played the love interest, the girlfriend, in the first movie, and the actor that I'm thinking of that said this quote was is the husband in real life of that actress. I can't think of his name either. I can't think of his name either. He. Oh, I know one movie he was in. The War of the Roses. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, War of the Roses. He played the husband that was at war with the wife. War of the Roses. Yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy I'm thinking of. I still don't know his name or can't think of it. I know his name. I can't think of it. Yeah, War of the Roses. That's the guy I'm thinking of. He's married to the actress from Zorro. Yeah. But anyways, he said this. He was like, and this quote is true, because there are a lot of people who get into acting for the wrong reasons. And he said this is that on national television. He said, if you're in this for the money, then you might as well just forget it. Seriously. And that's true. And that's been the case with plenty of actors in the past, even though they became big actors, but it did destroy them too at the same time. Even though they became big, notable actors, it destroyed them. So it still don't matter. Like, he's right either way, even if it doesn't completely, like 100, even though it doesn't completely entirely attach to what I'm saying, it's right either way. it does attach to what I'm saying, but not completely, because it can go another route. Is what I just said. You know, there's actors who have became big actors, but they still, it destroyed their whole life, even though they became big actors, because they became big actors for all the wrong reasons. You know, they wanted fame and fortune and stuff, and that is not why you should get into acting. You should get into acting because you want to be an interesting actor and, you know, create interesting characters and interesting storylines, you know, that really affect people. You know, like all the things that I've seen growing up that affected me, wherever that stuff may be. You know, that's why you should get into acting, not for the other stuff. You get into it for those reasons, then you expect to have a miserable time being in that area of work. You know, because it's already been proven, like I said, with other actors in the past. You know, I can't think of any names. So, Marilyn Monroe might be one of them. Might be, I'm saying. Because I think there was some part of her that wanted to be an actor because of fame and fortune. And then when she got it, she was having a hard time and didn't like it. You know, but that might be part of it. I think she also got into acting because she did care for the right reason too, but she had the bad reasons mixed with it, so it destroyed her. You know, I mean, that's not the entirety. There's other things that are incorporated into that too, but I'm not going to get into that stuff right now, probably not even ever. But yeah, so I think she might have been one of those people. But yeah, I'll say another thing is other actors, you know, when they became big, great actors, and now I am digressing a whole lot, but it's alright because, you know, it makes the video interesting to some people because I can go off on all these topics and just hold my own. But yeah, not in anything though, but I can hold my own in different topics. But yeah, oh yeah, actors in the back in the day, like in the 50s and 60s and 30s and 40s and 20s and shit. And like, there's plenty of those actors who did those. I mean, who became big ones, and you know their career. I mean, well, not their careers. Well, probably that too at some point for some of them, but their life is what I meant. Fell apart once they became a good actor. You know, it fell apart because they wanted the job for not just fame and fortune, but some of them, which I'm glad, because if I was in that job, it wouldn't affect me in some of those ways. It wouldn't affect me because I wouldn't care about the same things that they cared about. I would care about the things that I just stated that you should care about. So in some of those ways, it wouldn't affect me. But anyways, yeah, some of those actors, once they got big and they got movie roles and stuff and everything, they still weren't happy. Like, they were, like, because they didn't have an Oscar. And at first I thought that made sense, but now I realize that doesn't make sense. And it's actually the opposite way around. That I don't understand that. Like, you know, it's like the Bugs Bunny Daffy Duck concept where, like, Bugs Bunny would always get praised in some of the cartoon episodes, and he would get, like, you know, all these stuff and, like, an Oscar, and Daffy Duck could never get the Oscar, and Daffy Duck was just pissed off all the time and miserable and shit and everything because Bugs Bunny would, you know, get the notoriety and Daffy Duck wouldn't get anything. It's like, where's my Oscar? And everything. And now I realize that it shouldn't be like that. And the concept where, like, I thought it made sense that, like, you know, to be unhappy that you didn't get an Oscar, but actually now I realize, getting older and with all these things that I understand, is that it's actually the opposite way around. I shouldn't understand that, and it don't make sense to care about that shit. Like, I mean, yeah, sure, getting an Oscar is cool and everything, but, like, you shouldn't get hung up on that shit, which is what was the Achilles heel for a lot of those actors back in the 20s up to the 60s. And I'm not going to deny this. There's probably the case with some actors now today too. You know, it's the Achilles heel for them. It's like, where's my Oscar and shit and everything. It's like, why do you care so much? Like, you've been in a lot of great, amazing movies and you still get good roles. It's like, why do you care about that Oscar that much? It's like, that is a dumb thing. Like, seriously, if I was an actor, I would not give a shit about the Oscar like that. If I got one, cool. If I don't get one, I still don't care because I was in a lot of cool movies that a lot of people like. That is the part that should matter. Like, why are you so worried about that Oscar? Like, you really needed an award that bad? Like, another actor, I told you I could go on about this stuff. It can never end. I just keep dishing out stuff. But another actor said she had a case. It was that woman from, I don't know her name, but it was that woman from The Nanny, or no, I mean not the actual woman from The Nanny, but the one in The Nanny who played the mommy of The Nanny. That woman. She was telling her story, and she said that she always struggled in life because she was trying to figure out how much of it was her mother and how much of it was her when she was being an actor. And because her mother would, do all these things and, really, they had a strain in their relationship and stuff. So, yeah. So, and she was always trying to figure out how much of it was her and how much of it was her mother and stuff. And it made, her career really difficult for her. And when she finally got an Oscar for, or I think maybe it was a Golden Globe. It was one of those, Golden Globe, Oscar, one of them. But when she finally got an award for, playing some character, I don't know what the character was, but she played some character and got an award for it. Her mom got mad at her and, wanted her. She wanted the award that she had won. And she was like, no, mom, because, it's like, I won this, I deserve, yada, 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 and stuff. And later on, her mom, I'm just going to cut to the chase instead of getting into detail about it, because I don't want to say some things, because I feel like it's not right. If you want the whole story, then you need to go to where I got all the information from of that story, and go watch it and hear her tell her story. It was on Celebrity Ghost Stories. You need to go and watch that episode to hear her tell her story. But anyway, she said that, to get to the chase, her mom passed away. And it affected her in a emotional way. And, so to cut to the chase, her quote was that she said, she kind of, the one thing that she felt bad about and that she would change, was she came to, she had a resolution of it eventually. She had a resolution of it, and she came at peace with it eventually. But the quote she made is that, earlier on, is that the only thing she regretted that she wished that she could have done different, or that would be a change and stuff, that made her feel the worst about it eventually, was that she would have let her mom have the award. She would have gave it to her. She would have changed that and just been like, yeah, you can have the award, like, here. She would have gave it to her, because she's like, I don't, like, seriously, she said, it's just an award, like, and that was really heartfelt, and I was like, oh, and stuff and everything. But yeah, she was like, it's just an award, like, why couldn't I just let her have it and stuff? So yeah. So that's just a lesson to be learned, that it's just an award, bruh. Like, it's not that big of a deal. Like, you are way too uptight about that damn award. Like, it's like almost like I don't want to say this, but I feel like, I don't know, something that's compelling me to say it, is that it's almost like narcissistic, at some point. It's like, it's just an award, but it's like you feel you need the validation. That's why I'm saying narcissistic. It's like you need the validation, It's like you're not satisfied until you get the validation, and everything. It's like, why do you need that? Which is why I'm saying it's like narcissistic, almost. You know, I don't understand it. And you look at all those people in the past from the 20s and 60s, it's like, haven't you guys realized and understood yet? That it's like that is not the really important thing in what you're doing in the job. Everything. You are going to ruin your own life if you care so much about a piece of whatever that shit is made out of. I don't know what the fuck. But it's like if you care so much about that thing, I'm glad I learned all these things in my life, because if I had ended up in that career, and if I ended up in that career, and never knew any of this stuff, I would have ended up in that same route with like a lot of those other people did. I would have ended up the same way, and they're like, oh, because I didn't get an award and stuff. It's like, bruh, come on, you were in Star Wars, bruh. It's like, what the fuck is your problem? Why do you care about that shit? It's like not everybody, but like a lot of people love, a lot of people love Star Wars. It's like, why do you care so much about that shit? You were in Oh wait, no, never mind. But you were in a Marvel's movie, for God's sake, or whatever else was a great movie or anything of uh, acting stuff. It's like, why do you gotta have that? I'm rehashing, but it's true. It's true. I wish I could remember other actors who ended up that way and stuff. It's like, it's like, I want to be an actor because I want to be famous and, have a lot of money. It's like, okay, man, be careful what you wish for. You might just get it. Be careful what you wish for. Oh, what's her name? Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez said, or, I mean, this is the gist of what she said. This ain't quote unquote what she said. She was making a statement. One was about relationship, but the other one was about was that Selena Gomez said that she's glad and fortunate and stuff and everything about this job and everything, but at the same time, like, it can be stressful and everything and stuff, but she's glad, basically, to get to the point is she's glad that she's learned what she's learned and she knows what she knows, because if she didn't, then her job would destroy her, and she would, like I said, over and over and over again, she'd be in that same place that all those other people that have her job ended up, so yeah, and that was from Selena Gomez, and some of you people out there might think she's cool. So, like, if she said that, then it's something to really be taken seriously. Yeah, because now she knows that it's not about all that stuff. She likes her job because, I mean, she is grateful to have her job and she thinks she's fortunate because it's, first of all, it's fulfilling to her. Second of all, she's good at it. Third of all, she feels like she's inspiring people. And I guess fourth would be that, like, her job, I mean, because she's good at it, like, besides inspiring, like, a lot of people yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. A lot of people like what she does, whether it's acting or music or stuff. They like what she does, because she acts too. No, actually, I knew her from acting first, before anything else. I know she does music now, but she was actually an actor first, and then she did the music after that. But, yeah, she likes what she does because people like what she does. So that's fourth, too. And it also goes back to relating to inspiration. She inspires people because they like what she does. It's related to that a bit, maybe a whole lot. I guess a whole lot, yeah, a whole lot. I mean, Yeah, a whole lot. Well, no, yeah, it could be just a bit because I have not seen her in anything and like that. Like I know she was in I know she was in that show. That was, I think, what I remember her from. She might have been in other stuff before that, and I just can't remember. What was the? It was on. It had to be on Disney Channel. Was where she got her start from when she gained popularity. But um, I just don't know if it was that one show, Wizards of the Harry Potter knockoff. Sorry, I kind of thought it sounded funny to say it like that, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, also I think they gain inspiration from Harry Potter anyway. So, but yeah, the Harry Potter knockoff is Wizards of Waverly Place. Uh, she gained popularity through that show. I think it could have been something before that, but I just don't remember if it was on Disney Channel. I don't remember. But yeah, and and yeah, where was I going with that? I forgot. Uh, I lost it. Uh, yeah, I lost it. I think 'cause she was. Oh, now I remember where I was going with that. Is my where I so yeah. What I was saying is that like she inspires blah 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 and stuff, but like and then I was going like a whole lot and everything with the inspiring and then people liking what she does and everything, and those go hand in hand a whole lot. But then I was like, no, it could be a little bit to it. Maybe it could be both, or it's just a little bit. It's because I know of her and I think she's inspiring, but I haven't seen her in anything that I like. Like, I never liked Wizards of Waverly Place. I know that show and I know she was in it, but I don't like it. But that doesn't stop me from thinking she's inspiring, because of statements and, mindsets, all that stuff. Like statements she said and things like that, and just, you know, attitude wise and stuff, is I think she's inspiring. You know, she doesn't have to be in something that I think is cool in order for me to think she's inspirational. You know, so yeah, not by my book, anyways. I think really it shouldn't be by anybody's book. I could play. I mean, I could I could I can't think of an idea with myself, but like I would just say in a basic way is that I could do something, you could not like what I do, but you could still think that I've done things and said things, and that because of my mindset and my attitude, that I'm still like impactful, even though I haven't in a specific thing, I haven't done anything that was interesting to you. So yeah. So I think it should be with anyone, but it probably, I mean, not probably, it ain't that case with other people. Some people is like they have to like your work in order for them to think that you're inspirational. If they don't like your work, then they don't think you're inspirational at all. And I don't think like that. That's me though. Yeah. So yeah. But yeah, to get back to what I was saying before I got into Selena Gomez and actors and all that stuff and everything, is yeah, that kid was, really uh, good, or a really great person, and I'm glad that that made it to YouTube and to the internet and stuff and everything. So we could all benefit off of that and stuff. So we could all benefit off of that and everything. Because people need to hear things like this and stuff, because these things don't get said and everything. And well, I don't know why I was about to say I don't know why. I do know why. I said it already, is that they want to shut you up and keep you in line like a damn ant, and just they don't want you to ask questions and stuff and everything. you know you start asking questions, then they start trying to attack you. So yeah. So, but hey, it is what it is. Ow, my back. But hopefully that chain will be broken someday. I think it can and it will. It's just the problem when somebody rises to the occasion is always like very few or if not one person doing it themselves, and it don't work like that. Like I remember this one guy that used to come to my house, and he used to come to my house, and I used to talk to him and stuff, and he used to tell me things and stuff. And I don't know if I said this to him. I probably did, but I think I actually did. But because I was telling him a story about something that I said to one of my one of my peoples back in the day that was my best friend, and what I said to my best friend when I was telling him the story was that I was like, oh, there has to be many messiahs, not just one messiah, and that he was like, oh, and stuff, and tell me like I didn't know what I was talking about and that I'm wrong and stuff and everything, like I didn't know what I was talking about, and I'm glad that he never really got inside my head or that I never paid too much attention to what he said, what the things he would say and stuff. I'm glad I never did, because if I did, then one, I wouldn't be me, and then two, I wouldn't be making all these statements that I'm making now because I would go off of too much of what he says. So I'm glad I never did that, and I just take a lot of what he says with a grain of salt. Some things he said I went off of like full on to the full extent, but not a whole lot. It was just like most things he said I took with a grain of salt. Or if not, I just didn't listen to it at all. And I'm glad I never did. Because, yeah, I wouldn't be saying anything that I'm saying now today if I did. So, yeah. But, yeah, I said, and he was just telling me like I didn't know what I was talking about. I was like, there can't be one Messiah, there has to be many Messiahs. And come to think of it, even though I was thinking of that while I was a teenager, I'm coming to think of it that actually does make sense because there's talking like that now today. They're saying stuff that now today. There's somebody that I was watching on. Oh my God! Hold on. Itch. Okay, there. So did they? I don't know if it got that on camera, but whatever. Um, I wasn't trying to get that on camera, but I was just wondering if it did. I was trying to play my video, and every time I tapped it, it wouldn't play. It's because hacking. I'm hacked. So yeah, I could be. Yeah. So, anyways. I think I'm. Well, I have other videos, so I know I'm hacked. But I was just saying. I was about to say I could be, but I know I'm hacked. But anyways, uh, I'm gonna find a different video real quick for a second because this is the one video that I have playing after I paused it and played you. Give me a second. Something different. That's better. It's more seating. Anyways, so yeah. Um yeah, but come to think of it, so now I've been seeing stuff and watching and yeah, watching and taking interest to stuff on YouTube and everything, and some people are making statements now that I've made when I was a teenager, like I said with that Messiah thing and stuff, and I'm like, well, okay, so then what I was saying wasn't, you know, there wasn't wrong with anything I said, you know. And because I never heard anybody else say that, and then I said it to him, and I said it way back then, but I said it to him, and I still hadn't heard anybody say anything like that yet. I thought there was something wrong with what I said. I didn't listen to too much of what he was telling me, but still, I thought, I kind of doubted myself a little bit there, but I didn't let it affect me too much, is what I'm saying. When he said, like I was wrong and stuff. So yeah. So I'm fortunate that happened. That I'm seeing now people make statements, or I mean that statement, and maybe some other statements I just don't know. or remember whatever right now. And I'm kind of trying to not really say anything. I don't know, because I just don't want to make it seem like, oh, I'm some amazing person that's so. I don't want to sound pig-headed, big-headed, all that stuff, and like, I'm boasting and like I'm trying to, like with, intelligence and stuff, like I'm so great and stuff and everything. I don't want to make it seem like that. I don't, first of all, I don't really brag. And second of all, I don't like people who brag about like a whole lot, like a person who is really full of themselves and just, has a huge ego, because I don't like that, and I'm not like that. I knew people like that, and that shit would piss me off. But yeah, so I guess that's what I'm saying is I don't want to sound like I have a really big ego and I'm, stuff, and that, bragging about, my smarts and stuff by saying things that I've said, you know. So yeah, I'm trying not to do some stuff because I don't want to seem like that. But anyways, um, yeah. So at least with that thing, I've been seeing lately that there uh have been people making other statements. I mean, at least lately, I've been seeing that there have been people making um. I'm about to switch to another video again. It's these videos. The first one I was playing for a long time, and then it started bothering me. And now this one, I've only played for a short time, and this has started to bother me too. It was soothing for a second. Okay, this is soothing. I hope it stays soothing. But anyways, yeah, with that statement, I've been seeing on YouTube that people have been making the same statement that I made a long time ago and stuff. So that unfortunate. I am fortunate, not unfortunate. I said that. It sounded like I said unfortunate. I am fortunate that ended up happening, and that other people are, the things that they're looking into is making them like they're coming to this thought that, in that same way too, and everything and stuff. So yeah, I don't be thinking like, oh, I'm the only one. And so like, like what I'm saying is just ridiculous. Now, I shouldn't let that get me down either, but sometimes it's really hard to not let that get you down with some things you think. It's hard to not let that get you down. But I shouldn't, I do conquer that quite a bit. I mean, I kind of just explained it earlier on by saying I took what he said with a grain of salt. A lot of what he said with a grain of salt, so I do conquer that a lot. But still, there's sometimes when I say there's sometimes I say things and I should take what people say with a grain of salt and not really go into what they think too much, and just listen to what I think, because I might be on a roll with something, and if I don't listen to what I think, then I'll never go anywhere with anything or be in a roll with something. Some of the greatest people, some of the greatest thinkers in history, like people thought they were nuts before they realized that they had something. So yeah, people might think you're weird at first for a little while before they think you actually know something that makes sense. So you just got to stick to it for a while. Even the Wright brothers, those are the guys who were responsible for us being able to fly today. Those people, like, people thought they were fucking crazy as hell. Like, you're gonna fly? Like, the fuck? You're crazy. Like in that movie, what was it? Well, I was about to say the Sorcerer's Stone. What the hell? That's Harry Potter again. This similar to Harry Potter with Merlin and King Arthur. That Disney movie. Oh, the Sword in the Stone. When Archimedes said to Merlin, he was like, "Oh yeah, men will fly, all right, just like a rock." I thought that's the funniest line in the movie. Yeah, men will fly, all right, just like a rock. I don't do it as cool as the voice actor who did that character, but I'm trying to make it seem really funny. I'm not as successful as he is. He did it really well, making it funny. But yeah, people thought they were fucking crazy, like talking about, men are gonna fly, because it's never been done before. Before they did it, Like, yeah, men will fly. Wait, why am I going back to that quote again? But yeah, people thought they were fucking crazy, and they didn't listen to they didn't listen to anything anybody said. They don't, like, I don't give a shit what you think, just because you think it can't happen and stuff and yada 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 and everything, and nobody's ever done it. It will never happen, and they stuck to what they believed in, and it finally happened. Now we can fly all over the place because of them. We went into space too. Now some people might disagree with me with that, that because of conspiracy theories. But I've never gotten to conspiracy theories in these videos. Maybe one day I will, but right now, no. I'm trying to stick to stuff that's actual, yeah, things that people really be talking about. If you know what I mean when I say that, like, people be talking about conspiracy theories too, but you should know what I mean when I say that. It ain't what it could be portrayed as. Yeah. So yeah, because of them, we've been able to go into space too. So it just goes to show you, for some of us out there, when we have a thought, take when you share that thought, really you might want to not share that thought, early on until you get to a certain point in life. Don't share that thought with people. But I think this video is bothering me now too. I can't find one video that I can stick with. No, yeah, I don't want to use this video. That's nice. Fuck it, I'll just go with Naruto. I like the video games, even though I don't watch the show. Anyways, so yeah, stick to, for some of us out there, stick to what you think, and take what people say with a grain of salt if you share that thought. But once, but in some cases you might not want to share that thought, and wait for a while, before you share it. Yeah. And stuff. You share it too early and it could mess things up. So yeah, wait. Yeah. But yeah, stick to what you think. Just because somebody else seems like they know something, and then you share that thought with them, and then they tell you wrong, doesn't mean a damn thing. You still could be right and they could be wrong. You just gotta stick to what you think and don't get deterred from what you think. And and yeah, get deterred from what you think and stuff just because somebody's opinion was like against yours. So yeah, was against yours. So yeah, get deterred from what you think. And yeah, and yeah, so yeah. I've been streaming for an hour and 30 something minutes now. I wish I had a thing, or I do have a thing to listen to this recording, but I'd rather use a plug-in, but this doesn't have the right outlet. And I don't want to open up my other headphones yet until my other ones are completely useless. But yeah, Yeah, my culture, a lot of people in my culture, I might never get back to where I started with stuff because I'm digressing on so many different topics and stuff and talking about them for a while. So I may never get back to where I started. Possibly, I don't know. And once I get tired too, after I've talked for a while, I definitely don't get back to where I started. So, but yeah, it's okay. I have this thing with me too where it's like I once I start something, I get bugged out, like not bugged out as in stressed, I just get bothered by it that I start something and I didn't finish it. I'm the same way with video games. If I start something and I have a goal in the game, and I don't finish it and I stop it before I finish it, then I get bothered and I keep it lined up on my systems until I finish that goal. So yeah, so that's the same thing with like conversation or just talking about something. If I start something and I didn't finish it, um, the topic, and say everything that needs to be said about it or everything that I need to say about it, then I get bothered by it. But I don't let it beat me up, which is why I said I don't get stressed about it because it's hard for me to do that anyways. Because when you can talk about different stuff and say like you know things, you can say a lot of things about different stuff. It's hard to do that because you're using analogies and then one topic can lead to another topic. And that's also a good thing trait to have too, because which is what I realized when I meet people and when my personality meets another personality, I realized that I just found a friendship that is very worth keeping because if you can be like that with somebody, then you definitely want that friendship to last because there is not many friendships where you can get into a conversation with somebody and it feels like there's no time there. I mean, there's no time. There's not enough time in the world to talk to them. Like you need time outside of time to be able to talk to them. You know, like it could last that long. That is a friendship you want to cherish and make sure you hold on to and never lose it with everything you got. Because if you lose it, once it's gone, and you ain't never getting it back. Yeah, so you better cherish that friendship and stuff. Yeah, you will regret it because people like that only come every so often. They do not come often at all. You know, I only have right now. Mm, well, let's just say I'm blessed that I have more than one friend like that. But still, like, and if you look at things from my perspective, I had a whole lot of friends that were like that. I had a whole lot of friends that were like that, and they all disappeared for different reasons. So, um, yeah. So you want to cherish those friendships. I mean, to have one friend like that is really, like, yeah, yeah. You definitely want to, make sure you stay locked into that friendship. To have one friend like that. If you got a whole lot of friends like that, then yeah, you are more than blessed. Like you got like some God gave you something that a lot of people wish they had it like that. Well, not a lot. Everyone wish that they had it like that. That they could say that they have more than one friend like that. You know, but yeah, life happens. So yeah. But yeah, you gotta fight for those friendships, bro. Like, especially if you were from my perspective and had a whole lot of friends like that, you gotta fight for those friendships, bro. Because if you lose them, then yeah, that's the end of it. It ain't coming back. Not with that person. Maybe with somebody else, but not with that person. And, if that, because in some people's cases, even after they lose that individual person, and they didn't have very many people like that in their life to start with. They they'll never see that ever again. You know, it's like they lost it and they're never giving it back with anyone, let alone that one individual. Let alone that one individual. So yeah. So yeah, hold on to what you got once you got it, or if you've had it from the get-go in your life, hold on to it. Because once you lose it, you ain't never getting it back, bro. I guarantee you that you ain't never getting it back. Unless you be blessed, you ain't never getting it back, Anyways, I digressed. I was really trying to say is yeah, I get bothered I get when I get on topics and stuff and everything, because if I don't finish it, and everything. But I don't get worked up. I don't get worked, like, stressed out, worked up about it and stuff, because I know, I have things to say about a lot of stuff, so it's like, it's all right, and my mind gets in that situation where it's like, as soon as I start thinking about something, it goes in, it's like a forest, like, I use a forest as an analogy. It's like, my mind is like a forest, and I could go on one path and then, start from that one path and lead to like a million different paths because of that one path I started on. So, yeah, and then get lost in it too because I started on one path and I got so deep into the forest that, I went on a whole lot of different directions and I got lost. So, yeah. So I don't let it bother me to that extent where I get stressed. Yeah. Anyways, I started that too because I was really about to say something else different. Um, there was some. I was about to say something else different. That was digressing again into a good subject, but I think I might have lost it though after I said the thing about the forest and stuff. Um, I think. I don't know. If I can think of relations, then maybe it might come back. I just have to backtrack stuff. Oh, I'll say another thing. The reason why I do these documentations is that the reason why I do these documentations is because sometimes it feels like there's nobody else to speak but me. So it's like I have to do these documentations. Also, it feels healthy and it's like I'm getting the things out, and it makes my brain feel stronger if I do this. If I don't do it, then it's just I feel my brain is getting weaker. So it's good to do this because it feels healthy and makes my brain stronger and stuff. So yeah, because your friends ain't gonna be there every time to speak to you. You gotta find other ways to keep your brain healthy and the thoughts in it, and stuff going in healthy thought. You know what I mean. So yeah, you need to find other ways to do it besides just relying on your friends to talk to your friends. Even therapists too is not going to be enough. Like, you got to use different venues to keep your brain on the right track for stuff. So yeah. Oh, I found it back. I don't know how I found somehow saying that. I guess it was like art tracking and it was kind of backtracking in a way. It's helped me get back to that thought. I was talking about the Messiah thing. Yeah. That's what I was really talking about. But yeah, and I don't think I'll lose it either. But yeah, just use different venues. Don't rely on just talking to people to solve everything. It's not always gonna work for you. Yeah. Anyways, the Messiah thing. Yeah, I was saying that, and then I started talking about the Wright brothers and yada yada yada, and yeah, and that's how it all digressed into all those different topics. But yeah, so I was saying the Messiah thing, and I talked to that. I mean, this guy that used to come to my house and speak to me about stuff, and I wouldn't listen to much. I wouldn't listen to much of what he would say and take things he would say with I would take things he would say, okay, tell me in this video. I mean, not the video I'm recording, but the video I'm playing on my other phone. Alright. So yeah, the Messiah thing, and I would take things what he would say with a grain of salt and stuff. I wouldn't listen to too much of what he would say. And yeah. Hey, yeah. And now I found that other people are saying the same thing that I said and been saying and stuff. Is yeah, you need more than one Messiah. I know Jesus and everything and all that stuff and everything, and he was the Messiah, but like I feel like, when somebody rises to the occasion, whether it's just one person or just a handful of people, it's like things don't get done and be as I wouldn't say impactful, but just like they don't really they don't really be the punch to the gut that it needs to be, because it's one person or a handful of people doing it. Sure, they will inspire somebody else and stuff, and their legacy will keep going on to keep hope alive. But at the same time, if you could duplicate more people like that one individual, then I mean, look at what the world would be like today. It would be way, way different. So that's what I'm saying. There can't just be one Messiah. There has to be many. And I think that's one part of what the purpose of Jesus' existence and his teachings was about. He wasn't just teaching that, like, for however other people look at it. He's teaching to show us, the way of how to be like, and stuff. Like, I mean, we don't have to. We all are different and everything. We don't have to be carbon copies of one another and stuff, or of him either. But I'm saying he's showing us, like, he died and all that stuff to show us the way of of how to be strong and how to keep everything strong is what I'm saying. I'm not saying to be a carbon copy of something. You exist for a reason. Is your existence has a purpose. To be like somebody else, or to be a carbon copy of somebody else, is a waste of your existence. So yeah. So yeah. Not that there's anything wrong with looking up to Jesus and wanting to be a lot like him. I'm not saying that either. I'm saying but Jesus existed for his reason. You exist for your reason. He stands for his existence, for you to feed off of his holiness, so you can be strong too. Through, I think it even says something like that in the Bible, that through me, you can't, like, you are strong through me, is what it says in the Bible. I think something like that. Even if it's not in the Bible, it's in some biblical text somewhere. That through me you are strong. So yeah. I mean, they even teach that when they do those, like, choirs in church. I forget how those choirs go, but yeah, yeah. So through me you are strong. That's what I'm really trying to say. Was his existence, but you exist for a specific and individual reason too. And so yeah, you ain't gotta do everything that, like, what he did and be a carbon copy. But yeah, we all need to be strong in our own individual ways to make the world better and stronger. Which is why I was having a debate with somebody last night about racism and all this other stuff, and I disagreed with them and said that racism can end, because the chain just has to be broken. And I already said that, like, I don't know how long ago too, is you just have to break the chain. Now, I didn't get into really depth and say all these cool stuff like I'm saying now to them, because just my brain just couldn't do it at that moment that night. but that's all right. Maybe they'll see this video someday without me saying it to them face to face. Is you the chain can be broken and stuff and everything, but you just have to, someone somewhere has to be strong at some point, to be the link to break things, where one person stands, other people will follow. Now, stuff, now if you multiply that, then you break and destroy darkness even more. So, which is why I said the other thing too, but it starts with 1, 2, but you gotta continue for that number to grow and multiply, which is the whole point of Satan and everything, is to throw you off that. He is the snake and yada yada yada. I ain't gonna say all that stuff about the Bible with the Satan thing, and like his of how he just hit the snake and all that stuff and everything. But I'm saying that that's his whole point and role, is because he's hardened his heart against God, and he fell from grace. So he is, and I've said this in other videos by using superheroes as a analogy or whatever. Is he's hardened his heart against God and everything because he fell from grace, because he thought he could be God, or even better and greater and more powerful than God, and that ain't how it was going to go, and that ain't how it could go. So yeah. But anyway, so God cast him out. And when he cast him out, he fell and, became pure evil. And, once he became pure evil, he hardened his heart against God, because God is the representation of good. And so, therefore, he was against everything that God loved and created that was also that representation and stuff. So he's, his whole goal is he sought out to destroy anything that isn't good. That isn't good. He's to destroy everything that isn't good, So that's it. That is the whole purpose why he does what he does. I said that way back. It was my last year of high school. I didn't graduate yet, but I was about to graduate. I said that to my best friend. And I didn't say it as intellectually as I just said it now, but I still said it nonetheless. And he was just like standing there and with this mindless, I don't give a shit look. Because I didn't, say it to the degree that I'm saying it now. But I did say, to get to the point, I did say this, quote unquote, don't you get it? He hates us and stuff. And that didn't, say nothing to my best friend, at all. So, yeah. And the other stuff, I said something else before that, but it just didn't speak to him, because it was more like somewhat of cliche, and he already had some little knowledge of the Bible, even parts that I didn't know. So, because he went to Sunday school and I never did, well, I would say never did, but like, I did sometimes, just not like he did. He went to Sunday school a lot, which is funny. That's what I'm saying, Satan, bruh, Satan. I never went to Sunday school, but my faith is strong as hell in God, and he went to Sunday school a lot, and he believed in God and all that stuff and everything. And would say things to me that was like how I would say things to him when we got older, and he would sit there with that stupid look on his face, like, you didn't say, like, you don't sound anything of anything. And then he would say stuff like that to me when we were kids, and I would just sit there like nobody understand and everything. But that's what I'm saying, Satan, bro, because he was getting there faster and more than I was when we were kids, but somehow he got deterred off his path, and he lost everything. Everything, his perspective, everything. He lost all that shit. Whereas I started off in a certain place, and it just made me stronger with that stuff. It made me more greater and stronger in all that stuff. As bit by bit, as time went by, slow and steady wins the race. Even though it still don't matter, because it's like, at least in that story, it don't matter with the slow and steady thing, but because he shouldn't have got deterred off his path, but he did. Now I'm not pointing my finger at him and shitting on him and say, look at you now or whatever, however you want to look at it in the way of negativity and like, I'm shitting all over him and just being mean or whatever and saying, yeah, so yeah, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that, where the direction he was heading in, he shouldn't have got deterred off his path, but yet he did. Somehow Satan knocked him off. Some way, somehow. I think I know why and how, but I'm not going to say it on camera. How and why I know. Why he got knocked off. And how Satan got him. But I think I know how and why. But I'm not going to say, nor will I ever say it. He'd have to be the one to say it, I guess, if he even knows why. Some people don't even know why themselves, why they ended up knocked off and their life, went where it went. So, yeah. But, yeah, I think I know, but I'm just not going to say it because I'm not him. I don't think it's right to say it, on camera. But, yeah, so he got knocked off. So, but yeah, he got knocked off. So yeah, and now look at me. Now I'm not acting like my life is perfect or anything, and I'm places way better than him by far. And now look at him. If anything, when it comes to like financial stuff, because I found him and figured out where he's at in life with things as financially. Like he's got his own home. I ain't gonna say too much about his life, but he's got his own home. He's making money. He went to college and everything. Now I don't know how much money he's making, but I know he's making money enough to have his own home and everything, and get things that he wants. But so in that aspect, he's doing very much well for himself and a lot better than I am. I'm not trying to talk like, my whole life is, the way I went and it's perfect and I excelled past him and all this stuff, but, because I didn't with the financial stuff, but he gained all that, but he lost his faith and his belief and stuff and everything. So I'd just say that, I'm going to get into anything else, but, he lost his faith and his belief, whereas I don't have money in my own place. Obviously, like I live somewhere because you see I'm recording in a room, and I live somewhere, but it's not my place. As far as like I don't own the place that I'm in, but yeah, so he excelled in that, but like I've surpassed him in faith and strength, of believing in things and having an understanding of something. And that's where he gained and lost, and where I gained and lost. So those are the ratios and the differences and stuff. So yeah. But anyways, it's just funny. I just wanted to add that in there. It's just funny how life can play out and what things can happen in life and stuff. So that's why I say that all that stuff about the take things with a grain of salt and don't just let everything people say, get to you and throw you off course and shit and everything. That is part of how Satan operates and works, is he uses people as pawns like a chess game to throw you off so that you don't be successful in anything and change anything in any kind of way. Because it's a part of God's plan and his web of grand scheme of web of tapestry to for the world to get better. Because really, God doesn't want to lose any of his children. But it also says that, not everybody's going to go to heaven. But he doesn't want it to be that way. But we have free will. And then there's Satan too. So because of that, it, might be that might be the case, that some people just won't go to heaven. He wants as many of his children to make it into heaven as possible. you know. So yeah, if not all of them, I mean, if he, if things could be the way that it should be, then all his children would go to heaven. I mean, I did see something somewhere that eventually everyone will go to heaven, and there's different realms or levels of heaven, just like there is hell. So yeah, eventually, uh, well, I mean, I'm not saying this is like a straight up statement, and I'm just putting it out and just laying it out and stuff that like, oh yeah, eventually we all gonna make it to heaven. Like, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that what I was saying in the beginning, that I saw somewhere that it said that eventually, there's even one religion that teaches called universalism, saying that eventually at some point, hold on. Eventually, at some point, uh, everybody will end up in heaven, at some point or another, you know. So yeah, but that's not me, like I said, laying things out and saying, yeah, this is how it is. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying what I saw somewhere in different places. But yeah, so if you don't believe in that, you don't believe in it. Don't let me test that, and now you just changed your belief because of what I said. I'm not even saying I believe in that. I wonder about it sometimes, but I'm not saying that I believe in that, because religion is a interesting thing and a subject, bro. It is, bro. It is it is as mind-boggling. Religion is as mind-boggling as a lot of other things are in this world. So, yeah. So, shit. So, yeah. So, even with all the things that I've said in this video, even I be wondering sometimes about that stuff, bro. And I ain't lost my faith because I've gained enough of it to not lose my faith and get knocked off from God. But I just wonder about different, areas of, the things that I've come to, of where I've gone spiritually and what I know. I just wonder about different areas of those things sometimes, and that whole, uh, everyone is going to be there at some point is, I wonder about even that sometimes, sometimes I wonder about that. But you'll never know until we're all, on the other side meeting our maker and stuff, and see everything for what it really is, bro. You'll never truly know, as far as in my opinion, as the, you know, will you be in hell forever, or will you just be in hell for the moment, and then you'll go to heaven, and that's where you'll be forever. As far as that goes, and my thought on that, you'll never truly know until you're dead and you meet your maker. Yeah, like I said, my belief on it too, because it's not like atheists are gone. There's still atheists, so there's a lot of people that don't believe that there is a God. I do, and I never will not, but there's a lot of people that don't believe there is a God. So yeah, but but that's the whole purpose of it all, and you look at things in a really big, grand scheme of a huge, wide picture. We got all these different things going on in our life, these toxic, poisonous, life-threatening things going on in our lives to screw up our path and mess things up so that the devil can gain control and power and turn us away and make us fall and gain more, you know, bodies in hell. Body counts is what the word I'm looking for. Get more body counts in hell. So yeah. And that should be good enough for you to understand what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I hope you don't think I literally mean like, the flesh, the body, like that, like your body, like, bones and all that stuff. That's not, I mean like body, because I'm using that word like off of horror movies and stuff, body counts, to talk about, the spiritual realm and the souls and stuff. But yeah, to get more body counts in hell, because he hates us, like, he hates us. We are, the creation of God, and we're supposed to represent, you know, we're supposed to represent part of what, or not part, we are supposed to represent what God is, From what I've heard, and it makes sense to me, and my understanding is that we're all fragments of God. We are different fragmentations and different expressions of the Almighty, you know. So yeah, and that makes perfect sense to me. That makes total 100% perfect sense to me, and now everything comes into clear perspective to me a lot better than it did before. Now that I know that, if you are created by something, it's like your mommy and daddy. Your mommy has one trait in different aspects into her personality and her genes and stuff, and so does your daddy. And they get together and they have you. And you are pretty much different expressions and different, you are you too, but you are different variations and expressions and genes and, so on and so forth, and personality traits of your mommy and daddy, all wrapped into one being. I said that too to my cousin. Then eventually my cousin told her grandmother about that, but and she thought that sounded crazy because I didn't say it and lay it out like I did just now. There was like a whole lot of error in the way it sounded the first time I said it, even though it still made sense. It just didn't make sense then because I didn't express it in the most in-depth, articulate way back then when I first said it. And that's all as far as I'm going to put it. Yeah, it was an articulate way back then when I said it the first time. But yeah, this is basically how I put it though the first time I said it, is that I was like, all you are is pretty much your mom and your dad can, all you are is pretty much your mom and your dad fused into one person. So yeah, it's the same thing, but it doesn't sound as like it makes sense even though it still does, but when you hear it that way, it sounds like it don't make sense. And that's crazy. What you just said is like the most retarded, crazy, ridiculous, unbelievably, something wrong with you, kind of thing you could say. And it's not. It's just the way it got said. It didn't come out. It's just the way it got said. It didn't come out. You ever heard somebody say something that was true, but then when they said it, like they said it in a way that sounded crazy? So there you go. Like, when you going, I was say for example, like, drinking some water, and they could say that, but then it's like the way that they said it when they talked about going to drink some water. It's like it was still true, but when they said it, it sounded crazy. You're talking crazy when they said it. It's like I feel like sometimes, well, I guess yes. I don't know. I don't feel like it as much now as I used to, but I feel like sometimes I have to explain everything because people try to pick apart or even if they don't try to pick apart, like they just don't get it what you're saying, and I have to explain everything. But yeah, what I mean with that water thing is like, I guess this is the best way I can explain it. It's like I say I'm gonna go get a drink of water, and then instead I say I'm gonna go get a bottle or something like that. Like that's the best way I can explain it. I'm gonna go drink, uh, some juice or something like that. I don't know. That's the best way. And so I'm gonna go drink a bottle. You know, that might be the completely best way you can explain it. It's like, what do you mean you're gonna go drink a bottle? What the hell? You know. Now I can say that to somebody now today, and they would totally get what I mean. That I'm gonna go drink a bottle, and whereas someone else, I say that to, they're like, you talking crazy, bro. You know, you sound crazy. It's like, you okay? It's like, bro, I'm talking about, like, come on now. Like, I'm talking about water, bro. Like, I'm gonna go get a bottle of water. Like seriously. So, it's like, yeah, that's what I mean. It's like, somebody can say something that makes sense, but it's like, they still sound crazy after they said it. Yeah. Especially if you speak slang, it's like, that could definitely make sense to somebody who uses slang in their talk. It's like, I'm gonna go get a bottle to drink. Or I'm gonna go drink a bottle. It's like, but to people who never use slang or speak proper a lot, like, that sounds like crazy talk to them. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, you gonna go? It's like, is you okay? Like, the hell? So yeah, that's what I mean. I think that was a good analogy. So now it should come clearer now, to you or anybody who's watching. But yeah, but yeah, that's what I said to her the first time I said it. I was like, all you are is your mom and your dad fused into one person, and that's it. Shit. And yeah, that sounded crazy, even though it still made sense and it's the same thing. I just didn't explain it in a way that where, like, it's like, it didn't sound crazy. Yeah. And then, after she said that, she went and told the grandma, I ain't even gonna explain that, but she went and told grandma. And grandma said, I heard it. I wasn't, right next to them. I just, got wind. I heard it. I was in a vicinity where I still caught wind of it. And she said to her, she was like, no, you are yourself, and your mom and dad had you, is what she said. And she was like, oh, that makes sense too. And then that's when, she started looking at me like I was crazy. And grandma already looked at me like, I just did, like, something was wrong with me. Yeah, but yeah, now she started looking at me like I was crazy. Because after what she explained to her, and then, yeah, so, yeah, she realized, or I mean realized, she, thought in there in that moment that I said something really, crazy, and just like, like, you got problems. Yeah. But yeah. So it's the same concept with God, with your mom and your dad, and your makeup, your gene pool or whatever, your family tree is what I'm saying. It's the same concept. Like, when you go far down the line, somebody started somewhere, and started forming your whole family tree, and that those people, or I mean those two people, and we're just gonna say those two people because actually that is the only thing that makes sense. Why would you just say the one person? But yeah, those two people are different expressions of your whole entire family tree. Your whole entire family tree. Other people came along to help develop that tree, but yeah. So those people are different expressions that led to you, or different expressions. You have in your gene and in your brain, um, to an extent, um, your ancestors, uh, traits and stuff like that, and personalities and all that and everything. Like, I'll use me for an example. I get my laziness from my mother. I get my work ethic from my father. And I'm not saying, like, she don't do no work. Like, of course she does. But she's more lazy than my dad is. My dad is more of a, work ethic type of person than she is. She gets lazy, a lot at times. My dad ain't like that. I'm about to snap my fingers, but he moves a lot more than she does. Now he gets lazy too because people get tired sometimes, but not like she does. He moves a lot more. So yeah, a whole lot more. He's got more energy and stuff, and he moves a lot more. So I get my work ethic from him, and my laziness from her. So that's what I mean. Like, you are different, variations of your family tree, your parents, and all that stuff, and everything. You are you too, though. So it's the same concept with God. We are all different expressions and fragments of God. Just yeah, that's what fragments mean. It's just like broken, like not broken, but like just separate pieces of one consciousness. So yeah, that's why I was using the family tree thing. But yeah. So it makes sense now. It's all coming together now. So yeah. I might stop now because I feel like I got enough out that I want to get out. I could keep going and going and going, but at some point, you feel like you've said enough and you just want to take a break and just do something different. So that was the whole reason why I came to this, is because my mood was killed to do anything, and yeah, I don't want to think too much about it, but yeah, my mood was killed to do anything, and I just didn't know what else to do, and etc. with other stuff. So yeah, that's why I came to this. But now I'm starting to not feel like that no more. So now I think I can go do other stuff now and be happy with doing it and focus on it. I might go watch a cartoon show or something. um, eh, no, I ain't gonna state that. At least not right now. I'm not gonna state the cartoon show, but I will say that I might go watch a cartoon show in a second. I ain't gonna state it though. Not right now. Maybe in the future, unless I already did say it and I just didn't know. But yeah, I'm not gonna state it now, right now. But in the future, maybe I'll say something about that. The what cartoon show I was ending up to go watch, and that I like this show a lot. Yeah, for right now, I'm gonna leave it alone. You don't need to know everything about me, like, fuck you. No offense, but seriously, like, fuck you. You don't need to know everything about me. That's for me. Like, or anybody who's close to me, or like the one person who's close to me. Like if I have a woman, in my life, then that's for her, me, and God. You people out there are just like other people. Some of you, if I knew you in real life, I would care about you, and others, I don't know. Which is part of the reason why I'm saying, yeah, you don't need to know everything about me. Yeah. But yeah, so I'm not gonna cut the video off yet, but it probably will be shortly soon. I will, because I am getting satisfied with what I've done so far. But yeah, the Messiah thing, the Messiah thing is the Messiah thing is that yeah, there needs oh my god. At least it's getting better, because after all that talking I did, I feel like I made my brain stronger. But it's still a thing though. Yeesh. Last night was really bad, really bad. But with everything I'm doing, hopefully, nothing like that will ever happen to me. Anyways, but with the Messiah thing, there needs to be many different ones. You know? So yeah, there could be a great president, leader, because part of what a Messiah is just a really great, huge, influential leader who can impact people. That's part of it. But yeah, so it could be a great president leader who's actually, we're just gonna leave it there. A great president leader. It could be a person who leads a company. It could be a great famous person. It could be so a lot of different things. But you need more than one of that one thing, and one more than one thing in those criterias too. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you could duplicate somebody like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Bruce Lee, who else? What's a good actor? Oh, I said Heath Ledger a minute ago. If you could duplicate people like that throughout from history and multiply them times 10 across the world, you would really have a problem on your hands for the forces of evil. You really would, because it's a lot of people who have a lot of power in different ways, whether it be mind and spiritual and all that stuff, all across the globe. Satan wouldn't be winning so easily. What makes Satan so powerful is because he's manipulative. He is a liar, a deceiver, and stuff like that. And he uses things that you can't understand and see in your life to confuse you and stuff like that and everything, to throw you off and everything. So yeah, if we had more people who weren't like that, even though I'm not saying that those people were perfect at all. I could say things about all those people that uh, what was errors in their being that caused them to, I wouldn't say not be successful, but just caused them to just like be in predicaments. So yeah, I don't think I will say anything those things that I know of about those people though, because again, disrespect and I don't know, I just feel a kind of way about it, so I'm not gonna say that. And because of respect out of a lot of people who cared and respect those people, so I'm not gonna say it. Yeah. Also, I'm thinking about families too. Like, I'm not even just thinking about the people who look up. I mean, people who look up to those people and respect them, and care and stuff, all that stuff. But I'm thinking about like those people's families, like especially Bruce Lee too. I mean, definitely Martin Luther King as well. But I'm talking about Bruce Lee especially because Bruce Lee had a son, and some of you might already know this, but Bruce Lee's son was in one of the most best gothic horror movies ever. It was called The Crow. And some other people might not know that because I didn't even know that at a certain point, and I was an adult by the time I figured that out, and I was just like floored and just astonished. I didn't know. The son became the father. I don't think Brandon would have liked that though, for me to say that, but I think it's okay to say that. He might have took it the wrong way, but I think if he was still alive today, I think I could explain it to him where he wouldn't, if he took it the wrong way at first, where he wouldn't feel angry about it anymore after I explained it to him. But yeah, the father became the son, and he wants to be his own person too, which is respectable. I feel like every son, well, most, not even most, there's a lot. I won't say every or most or whatever, like a ratio, but like a lot of sons feel like that. They want to be their own person. Like they don't want to be, their father. So yeah. A lot of sons feel like that. You So yeah. Ouch. And some sons do feel like that. Like they want to be their father and stuff and everything. Because they respect their father so much, so they want to be their father. But yeah, and both together, like they want to be their father, but they want to be their own person too. So yeah. But anyways, uh, um, yeah, he became his father, or I mean, the father. I mean, the son became the father. There's even a quote in Superman: "The son became the father." So yeah. Um, Yeah, so and because of that, um, Uh, why was I mentioning that? And then about Bruce Lee. Um, I said something about families and disrespect and stuff or something. But yeah, oh yeah, because of how I look and respect him, I guess. Yeah, I think that is what it was. How I look and respect him and stuff, you know. And like I said, one of the best horror movies of all time. They just did a remake of it. It came out this year, but I saw that the reviews weren't good. I'm still gonna go watch it and see what I think at some point. But I saw that the reviews of it weren't good, and that people thought it was shit. But I'm gonna go see what I think because maybe my opinion might be different. But yeah, uh, the son became the father, and like I said, it was The Crow. The Crow was the movie, and so yeah. And one thing, well, I think this is the overall thing I mean when I say that is that the father was great, and the son became as great as the father. You know, that's what I mean. The son became the father. Like, so I don't mean like he's like, you know, being uh, like what I said earlier, like a duplicate or whatever of his dad, because that's where he would probably get offended and wouldn't like me saying that if he was still around today. You know, he wouldn't like me to say that. You know, it's like I don't want to be my dad. I want to be me. You know, I want to be my own person and stuff. You know, yeah. So, so yeah, and everything. But yeah, that's not what I mean. I mean that his dad was great, and he became just as great as his dad. So he became the father and everything. So yeah, he was a great actor, and he was a good fighter, just like his dad too. So you know, yeah, he was two things, you know, just like his dad. You know, his dad could act too, but like he did something even just as great. If I'm really, I would think in some ways I'm more of a fan of him, the son, more than the father. And he says some interesting quotes too. Something about I don't know if or maybe I don't know. I probably forgot. I don't know if I fully grasped what he was saying about this quote, but he was talking about something called Sheltering Sky or something like that. I think is what the name of the book is. But anyways, he said how, if I can remember every word for word, how many times? I'm just gonna go and say off of what I as best as I can remember. How many times will you watch the moon or the sunrise? Either way, the moon or the sunrise. You know, how many times could you remember a moment in your life that was so um that was just so unforgettable, you know, that it just really stuck with you and stuff and everything. You know, maybe 5 times forward, not even that, you know. And then he said something else after that, which I wish I could remember because it doesn't kill the quote, but it kind of like it leaves something that needs to be there, and it makes it like it's not there, so the quote doesn't hit you as hard and as heavy as it should because it's something that needs to be there isn't there. But yeah, he said 4 times, 5 times, maybe not even that. And then he was like, yet it all seems endless. So, and I liked that when he said that, you know, that really did affect me when he said that, you know. It took me a while to fully grasp. I knew he said something great and smart and interesting. I just didn't fully grasp it when he said it the first time. I thought about it though, but I didn't fully grasp when he said it the first time. But, um, But at some point or another, I think I finally did. As time went by, I did. Like I said, memory stuff. So, and I think it was sort of recent that I realized what he was talking about when he said that. But I just don't remember because it was sort of recent. You know, so I don't remember right now. Maybe one day it'll come back to me, or maybe I might have to relearn it. You know, one or the other. But I just it's not there right now for whatever reason. But yeah, like I said, he said that and it did affect me, you know. So yeah. What? No, now it feels like it is coming. What the hell? It feels like it's coming back to me. Maybe I don't know if this is what I knew or learned, or what he meant, or is this if this is what he meant. If this was the original thought, I think he was saying that, like, how many times will you think, or something about things, or just sit and do stuff and enjoy it and stuff, and and it could have meant something, a little more different to him, and at the same time the same thing, but he never made that statement or said, why he loved that quote. He just said the quote, and then it just leaves you with whatever feeling it leaves you with. And then whether you figure out what he meant when he said that quote, or what he was trying to say when he said that quote, is remains to be seen. But anyways, I think what he was saying is that how many times will you remember something or do things and enjoy it and really cherish it, but then yet it all seems endless, is because it just feels like the things like that will last forever, though we take those things for granted, because it seems like they'll last forever, that we'll be able to do these things and be here for an eternity, with all this stuff, and remember and enjoy it and stuff, and we won't. And I think that's kind of what he was trying to say and why he said it, is yet it all seems endless. Because I do remember in the beginning, when before he even said that quote, he was talking about the movie The Crow, that after he finished doing it. And he said that I don't care at all what statements the film is trying to make or what it has to make. He said because he said that's not Eric Draven, the character he played. That's not his perspective or his view of where he comes from in the world. That he comes from. That's not his view. That is not how he sees things. That is not how Eric sees things. And then he started saying the quote after that. So yeah. So some that quote connects and goes somehow along, correlates and connects with the character, and when he was playing that character somehow. Now that part I don't think I've figured out yet. Maybe I'll figure it out before I cut this video off. We'll see. And the light finally cut off. That's weird. But yeah, we'll see. Those things might not last forever anyways. With those lights, they probably cut off at some point anyways. But yeah, we'll see. Or if I don't, then I'll figure it out later on down the road. But yeah, but other than that, I think that's what he was trying to say, is that just that you will think and remember things and do things and stuff, and how many times will you do things like that and all that stuff, and cherish it, and yet it all still seems endless. It just seems like it's just gonna go on and on and on. Like that kid from that movie. I ain't gonna say what movie it was, but I just remember that kid in that movie said she was like, which is scary, and at the same time it's hilarious, and shows that kid is becoming, like, their mind is going in a really intellectual path, and they're only like 3 or 5 years old. But the kid said something like, what is the point to stuff and everything? It's like, you have to do things again and again and again. And I get, because she's saying it in the way a kid would say it, but she's actually thinking in a really big intellectual way, even though she's saying it in the way a kid says it. She's thinking ahead of her time. Ahead of her time as in because she's 5 years old or 3 or whatever. Is she's thinking really big for somebody that age. She's like again and again and again, because she's saying basically is that, what is the point to life? Because all we do is repeat and do the same stuff. Somewhat, basically, that's what she's saying. Is that what is the point to life? Because all we do is just repeat stuff and do it again and again and again, and everything just goes on like that. Nothing ever changes or gets new or added or something. Is what she's saying. She's just like, what's the point? It makes life seem kind of pointless and boring. It's like everything repeats and everything just goes on like that, forever and everything. And the dad did not explain anything to her about that, because she was thinking so big that not even the dad could say anything about it, or the older brother. So yeah, she was just left with that thought and not even, talked to about what she was thinking, again and again and again. Children can be underrated for, their mind, like their mind thoughts or whatever, can be really underrated for that stuff. Very underrated, because there are a lot of kids, that think big, and they're only kids. They're thinking really big and thinking things that adults don't even think about. Not only do adults not even think about it, even if they do think about it, they've only been thinking about it for a very little time, a short time, and because they've been thinking about it for a short time, they can't say anything about it because they have no big, depth on how to talk about it, because they haven't been thinking about it for very long. They're more worried about taking care of the kid who's thinking about that themselves, and money and the job and their wife and stuff and everything and all that other stuff. They're just the typical things with life. So yeah, they can't even answer that. So this is why I say I could just go on and just never stop about this stuff, because yeah, I really could. I could just talk about that too and just say, oh, well, I remember when I went to church one time, and church was talking about that, and they were saying in church, about God and everything, and they were like, where does God, who made God, blah, and just all that stuff. And, they were like, the pastor said, well, see, this is what I mean is like, you guys are being asked that, like, you guys should be like thinking about this stuff and like, have some type of formulated opinion or be able to comment on this. It's like, I'm not going to go into real depth about it and really start talking about it, but I'll just say this because why I say, I could just go on and just not stop with this stuff, is that he was saying that it's like, see, because it's like your kids are going to ask these questions, or probably already are asking these questions, and you won't have anything to say about it. So, yeah. You can't say and not one thing about it, because it's like, you just like your mind, it befuddles your mind as well. It's like you probably never even thought about this stuff until I said it today. Not me, but like when the pastor was talking, he said, basically he was kind of, getting that attitude out. It's like you probably never even, thought about this stuff until I said something about it just now. So, which he's actually bringing up a really good topic, and what do you call it? Bringing up a good topic, and something that needs to be out in the open and talked about a whole lot more too. There's a lot of things that need to be talked about and out in the open, and statements that need to be made, and stuff that people need to talk more about that people don't talk about. Racism, religion, and just get real deep into that stuff and talk about. I mean, those things are talked about, but like there's things within those subjects that aren't talked about, and that's one of them. Is that like kids think stuff, and then they go ask their parents, which was the case in a big, thing going on in my generation when we were growing up. Is the kids think stuff, and then they go to their parents and ask them these questions, and their parents have nothing to say about them. And so then the kid grows up with no, like, for some of them, I kind of feel like it happens to a lot of them, really. The kid grows up with no provoking thought or, like, interesting mindset because the parents have nothing to say about what the kids ask them about. Or even if they do say something, like I said earlier, they just give them a cliched answer. So their mind doesn't really go anywhere with it when they first think about it and ask their parents about it. So yeah, but that's where that was going. And that was a comedy movie, and it was a funny comedy movie. I just thought that scene was an interesting, you know, funny scene with that movie. I just thought it was funny and stuff. And I was like, if I had a kid now, it would be different because I'd be able to do that. I'd be able to hold a conversation and talk about that stuff to my kid if they asked me something like that. But yeah, it was just interesting if they said that, because there are kids that be thinking about this stuff, at the age that they're at. Even I did. Damn, I didn't want to say that. I wasn't supposed to say that. Oh well, too late. Yeah, even I did. Well, not the same thing that she thought, but I thought something like that when I was a kid. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that because, like I said, I'm not, egotistical, so I'm not even gonna, talk about that. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah. But yeah, parents need to jump on that shit, bro. But people think inside boxes and don't think big, yo. They don't think big. They just think inside their little box. And so when so it just goes like in a cycle. The kid asks the parent and blah blah blah, and then it just cycles and stuff. So some people break out of that cycle, but it doesn't happen all the time. Okay, I've been talking about this stuff long enough, and I kind of did want to keep on going just like for maybe like 10, 15 more minutes, but I'm going to stop it here. Not because it's been 3 hours now, but because I've been saying a whole lot, and I don't know, I just am feeling some kind of way, and I'm starting to not feel good about it because I've been talking about this stuff for so long, so it's making me feel some kind of way. So I'm going to find another way to I don't know if this was unwinding. I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know. It was doing something that was beneficial to me, but now it's going to work against me if I keep going on. So I'm going to stop it. So I'm going to go find some way to. I'm going to go find some way to unwind and just chill and relax and just enjoy myself. So that is it for now. I am out and done. I will be recording some other day another time and say really cool, interesting things about stuff as time goes on. Alright? And as long as I have space to do this, I will keep doing it. Alright? Take care. Goodbye. I'm out. Peace.